Every kitchen holds secrets, some warm and wonderful, others silent and dangerous. For seniors, these hidden hazards can quietly steal away strength, energy, and even years of life without a single warning sign. The most heartbreaking part? Many of these dangers come from the items we trust and use every single day. You deserve to know the truth, not to scare you, but to protect your independence, your joy, and your future. Let's walk through your kitchen together and uncover what might be harming you, and more importantly, how you can take back control starting today. If you care about living stronger and longer after 60, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Your health is too precious to leave to chance. Share this video with a loved one. You might just save a life. Let's create a healthier, happier future together, one simple change at a time. Many seniors still cook daily using non-stick pots and pans, believing them to be a safe and easy option. But research has shown that once the non-stick surface starts to wear down, even if it's just a few tiny scratches, these everyday pans can turn into a hidden danger inside your home. Experts explain that non-stick cookware, especially those made with older forms of Teflon, contains chemicals known as PFOA and PTFE. When these coatings are damaged or heated to high temperatures, they can release invisible toxic fumes into the air. You won't see them, you won't smell them, but doctors have observed that breathing in these fumes, even for a short time, can weaken your lungs and trigger serious inflammation in your body, especially dangerous for seniors. Studies show that people over the age of 60 already have more sensitive lung tissues. This makes them more vulnerable to irritation and slower to recover if damage happens. Breathing in chemical fumes from a scratched non-stick pan might not cause a strong reaction right away, but over time, tiny insults to your lungs can add up. They can quietly chip away at your breathing strength, leaving you more tired, more breathless, and at greater risk of respiratory infections. Even worse, researchers have connected the long-term exposure to these fumes with increased systemic inflammation. What does that mean? Simply put, it's like having a slow fire inside your body that you cannot feel. This silent inflammation has been linked to heart disease, arthritis flare-ups, weakened immunity, and even memory problems as you get older. The very cookware meant to make life easier could slowly be making it harder and stealing precious quality of life along the way. Experts stress that the danger becomes even greater if you tend to use high heat when cooking. Non-stick coatings are only safe up to a certain temperature, usually about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Beyond that, the material begins to break down, even if the surface still looks smooth. A simple act like heating a dry non-stick pan too long before adding food can send toxic particles straight into the air without any warning signs. Doctors have observed real-life cases where pet birds, which are extremely sensitive to toxins, have died simply because a non-stick pan overheated in the same room. Now imagine how a senior's delicate lungs could be quietly suffering in that same environment, day after day, without anyone noticing until it's too late. If your non-stick pans are more than a few years old, scratched, peeling, or have lost their shine, experts recommend replacing them immediately. Better yet, switching to safer alternatives can protect you from this hidden threat altogether. Ceramic-coated pans, stainless steel, or well-seasoned cast iron are all excellent choices. They might require a little adjustment when cooking, but the peace of mind they bring is worth every moment. Researchers have explained that even PFOA-free labeled pans aren't completely without risk. While the newer versions remove some of the worst chemicals, overheating or scratching any synthetic coating can still release harmful substances. That's why being mindful and choosing the right tools for your kitchen is an act of self-respect and self-protection, not just another chore. The good news is that taking action today can make a real difference. Your body, even at 60, 70, or 80, is constantly trying to heal and protect itself. When you remove silent sources of harm like degraded non-stick cookware, you give your lungs, your heart, your joints, and even your mind a better chance to stay strong and vibrant. Think of your kitchen not just as a place for meals, but as a place where your future is being shaped every single day. The cookware you trust matters more than you might have ever imagined. Replacing an old pan may seem like a small step, but for your health, it's a giant leap forward. You deserve to enjoy every breath you take without fear. You deserve to cook meals for yourself, your family, or your friends with full confidence that you are nurturing your health, not harming it. Small changes like this are the building blocks of a longer, stronger, and happier life. The kitchen is the heart of the home. Protecting it is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself today, and for all the tomorrows still waiting ahead. Plastic food containers are a common sight in almost every kitchen. They seem harmless, convenient, and easy to use. But for seniors, those old plastic containers hiding in the cupboard could quietly be doing more harm than anyone realizes. Experts explain that many older plastics, especially those made before stricter regulations were introduced, contain a chemical called BPA. BPA stands for bisphenol A. It's used to make plastics harder and more durable. But studies show that when these containers are scratched, worn, or heated, even slightly, the BPA can leak into the food inside. And that's where the hidden danger begins. Doctors have observed that BPA behaves like a hormone in the human body, tricking the system into thinking it's natural. It interferes with delicate hormonal balances that control everything from metabolism to heart rhythms to memory function. For seniors, whose bodies are already more sensitive to hormonal changes, this disruption can be especially damaging. Research shows that even small amounts of BPA exposure over time have been linked to a higher risk of heart disease, including irregular heartbeats and hardened arteries. Scientists have also found connections between BPA and type 2 diabetes, a condition that many seniors already struggle to manage. Hormones help regulate how the body handles sugar, and when they're thrown off balance, blood sugar levels can spike, making life much harder and more dangerous. Worse still, experts explain that BPA doesn't just impact the heart and blood sugar, it can also affect brain health. Long-term studies have suggested that BPA exposure may be tied to memory decline and reduced cognitive sharpness, something every aging adult fears. Doctors have observed that when seniors avoid exposure to chemicals like BPA, they tend to maintain better mental clarity and a stronger sense of independence for longer. The risk isn't just from eating directly out of old plastic containers, it's also from storing leftovers in them, microwaving food in them, or even washing them repeatedly in hot water. Heat and wear speed up the breakdown of the plastic, making it easier for harmful chemicals to migrate into the food. Scratched or cloudy-looking containers are especially dangerous because the damaged surfaces release even more toxins. Newer plastics are often labeled BPA-free, and while that's a good step forward, experts warn that some substitutes used in these newer plastics may still have hormone-disrupting effects. The safest route, especially for seniors wanting to protect their health, is to shift away from plastic altogether whenever possible. Safer alternatives, like glass containers, with tight-sealing lids, provide peace of mind. Glass does not leach chemicals no matter how many times it's heated, washed, or scratched. Stainless steel containers are another excellent option for certain types of food storage. Making these small changes in the kitchen today can lead to powerful benefits for heart health, brain function, and long-term vitality. Experts also stress the importance of being cautious about plastic water bottles. Many seniors keep plastic bottles in the refrigerator or reuse them, not realizing that repeated use and exposure to warm temperatures can trigger chemical release. Choosing stainless steel or glass water bottles can be a small but powerful act of self-care. The emotional weight of all this information can feel heavy, but there is real hope. The body is incredibly resilient. Studies show that once BPA exposure is reduced, the body begins clearing it out within days. That means the positive effects of switching to safer food storage options can be felt sooner than most people expect. Less chemical exposure means lower inflammation, steadier heart rhythms, better blood sugar control, and sharper mental focus, all things that seniors deserve to enjoy every day. Think about every meal you prepare, every leftover you store, every sip of water you drink. These small daily habits can either quietly harm or quietly heal, and the choice is always within reach. You have worked hard your whole life. You deserve to protect your body and your mind from silent, preventable harm. Changing how you store your food might seem like a small thing, But over time, it can build a stronger foundation for more years filled with energy, strength, and beautiful memories. Your kitchen should be a place of nourishment, not hidden danger. By choosing safer containers, you are choosing health, freedom, and the joy of many more good days ahead. Many people reach for vegetable oil blends thinking they are making a smart, healthy choice. The labels promise heart health, lightness, and vitality. But what many don't realize is that these so-called healthy oils may be quietly working against them, especially after the age of 60. Doctors have observed that vegetable oil blends are often made from the cheapest oils available, including soybean, corn, sunflower, safflower, and canola. These oils are heavily refined through high heat and chemical treatments. Experts explain that during this harsh processing, the natural structure of the oil is damaged. What remains is a substance packed with unstable fats, especially a type called omega-6 fatty acids. While the body does need some omega-6 fats, doctors warn that the modern diet has created an extreme imbalance. And when there's too much omega-6 and not enough omega-3, silent inflammation starts to brew inside the body. Studies show that chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the hidden roots of nearly every major disease seniors face, including heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, and even dementia. Doctors have seen firsthand how seniors consuming high amounts of vegetable oils often experience more joint pain, higher blood pressure, and faster artery damage without any obvious symptoms at first. The danger lies in how quietly this damage builds up over time, like a small leak under the floorboards you can't see until the wood starts to rot. Experts explain that when arteries are inflamed, tiny cracks can form in their walls. The body rushes to patch these cracks with cholesterol, leading to plaque buildup and narrowed vessels. Over years, this raises the risk of heart attacks and strokes, sometimes without a single warning sign. Seniors who believe they are eating light or heart-healthy foods by using vegetable oil blends may actually be stepping closer to these life-threatening problems with every meal. Beyond the heart, doctors also link high omega-6 intake to worsening joint pain and stiffness. Seniors who already struggle with arthritis or minor aches might find that their pain lingers longer, flares more often, and responds less to typical treatments. Inflammation in the joints acts like sandpaper, slowly wearing down the protective cartilage and making everyday movements harder and more painful over time. Something as simple as a walk around the garden or lifting a grandchild can start to feel like an uphill battle. Studies have even suggested that the brain, which depends heavily on healthy fats for structure and function, can suffer under the pressure of too many inflammatory oils. Memory lapses, confusion, and slower thinking have all been observed more frequently among seniors with high omega-6 diets. Experts stress that protecting brain health must start early, and cutting down on inflammatory foods is one of the most powerful ways to shield the mind against age-related decline. It's important to understand that the damage caused by vegetable oil blends is not dramatic or sudden. It's slow, silent, and steady, much like a river slowly carving a deep canyon through solid rock. You might not feel the changes right away, but deep inside your body, inflammation may already be building momentum, waiting for the right moment to strike. That's why doctors urge action today, not tomorrow. Many vegetable oil blends are deceptively labeled. Even if the bottle says heart-healthy, light-tasting, or omega-rich, it does not guarantee safety. Experts caution that unless an oil clearly states that it is extra virgin and minimally processed, like extra virgin olive oil or cold-pressed avocado oil, it is likely contributing to the invisible fire of inflammation. Some blends even mix multiple oils together, making it almost impossible to know exactly what you are eating. If vegetable oil blends are sitting in the kitchen cabinet right now, experts advise replacing them with healthier alternatives. Extra virgin olive oil, for example, contains natural antioxidants called polyphenols that actively fight inflammation and protect the heart. Studies show that seniors who regularly use olive oil instead of vegetable oils enjoy better heart function, less joint pain, and sharper memory well into their later years. This is not about giving up flavor or enjoyment in meals. It's about giving the body the fighting chance it deserves. Every cooking decision, every drizzle over a salad, every spoonful into a pan is either feeding healing or feeding harm. Doctors have seen incredible improvements in seniors who make this single simple change. It is never too late to protect the heart, ease the joints, and clear the mind. Your body has carried you through a lifetime of moments, big and small. Today, it's asking for your care in return. By choosing oils that nurture rather than harm, you are not only extending your life, but making every day ahead richer, stronger, and more joyful. The time to choose healing over harm is now, and every small step you take today builds the future you deserve. Using aluminum foil for cooking or storing your food may seem harmless, but experts warn it can quietly put your health at risk, especially as you age. Researchers have found that when aluminum foil is exposed to high heat, like in the oven or on the grill, tiny particles of aluminum can leach into your food. This is not something you can taste or see, but over time it can quietly build up inside your body, and the consequences can be far more serious than many realize. Doctors have observed that chronic exposure to aluminum has been linked to higher risks of cognitive decline. Studies show that aluminum buildup in the brain can be associated with conditions like Alzheimer's disease. For seniors, this is especially concerning. The brain becomes more vulnerable with age, and anything that increases the chances of memory loss, confusion, or dementia must be taken seriously. Experts explain that aluminum doesn't just pass through the body easily. It can settle in soft tissues, including the brain, the bones, and even the kidneys. Over time, this buildup can contribute to the kind of slow, silent damage that may not show clear signs right away, but can lead to devastating outcomes later. Imagine something as small as wrapping a baked potato in foil or cooking your fish inside a foil packet, quietly adding microscopic bits of metal into your system every time you eat. One study, published in the journal Frontiers in Neurology, found that people with Alzheimer's had significantly higher levels of aluminum in their brains compared to those without the disease. Scientists are still working to understand every detail, but the connection is alarming enough that many health experts are urging seniors to be extra cautious. When so much depends on keeping your mind sharp, your memory alive, and your independence strong, taking small protective steps today can make a powerful difference over time. It's not just high heat that causes problems. Even storing acidic foods like tomatoes, citrus fruits, or pickled vegetables in aluminum foil can increase the amount of aluminum that seeps into the food. Acid acts like a trigger, pulling more of the metal out of the foil and into the food. Experts explain that the longer food stays wrapped, the greater the exposure. So even cold storage can quietly increase the risks. Doctors have observed that while young, healthy bodies might be better at flushing out small amounts of aluminum, the body's filtering systems, like the kidneys, often become less efficient with age. This means seniors are more vulnerable to aluminum accumulation than younger adults. Even low-level exposure, repeated over months and years, can quietly burden the body in ways that are hard to detect until problems surface. Replacing aluminum foil with safer alternatives is not difficult, and it's a simple way to protect your health. Experts recommend using parchment paper for cooking or storing foods. Glass containers are another excellent choice, especially for leftovers and cold storage. Stainless steel pans and lids can easily replace foil for oven cooking. These small changes can make a real difference in lowering the load of unnecessary metals in your body. One study, published in the journal Frontiers in Neurology, found that people with Alzheimer's had significantly higher levels of aluminum in their brains compared to those without the disease. Scientists are still working to understand every detail, but the connection is alarming enough that many health experts are urging seniors to be extra cautious. When so much depends on keeping your mind sharp, your memory alive, and your independence strong, taking small protective steps today can make a powerful difference over time. It's not just high heat that causes problems. Even storing acidic foods like tomatoes, citrus fruits, or pickled vegetables in aluminum foil can increase the amount of aluminum that seeps into the food. Acid acts like a trigger, pulling more of the metal out of the foil and into the food. Experts explain that the longer food stays wrapped, the greater the exposure. So even cold storage can quietly increase the risks. Doctors have observed that while young, healthy bodies might be better at flushing out small amounts of aluminum, The body's filtering systems, like the kidneys, often become less efficient with age. This means seniors are more vulnerable to aluminum accumulation than younger adults. Even low-level exposure repeated over months and years can quietly burden the body in ways that are hard to detect until problems surface. Replacing aluminum foil with safer alternatives is not difficult, and it's a simple way to protect your health. Experts recommend using parchment paper for cooking or storing foods. Glass containers are another excellent choice, especially for leftovers and cold storage. Stainless steel pans and lids can easily replace foil for oven cooking. These small changes can make a real difference in lowering the load of unnecessary metals in your body. It's natural to wonder if a little bit here and there really matters, but researchers warn that cognitive decline often happens slowly, building over years, and by the time symptoms are obvious, the damage may already be deeply rooted. That's why small actions taken today, like choosing safer cooking methods, are so important. They help protect not just your brain, but your freedom, your conversations, your laughter, and the moments you treasure with family and friends. Experts explain that preventing cognitive decline is like tending a garden. You can't see the roots growing underground, but every drop of water, every patch of sunlight, every handful of healthy soil makes a difference over time. Protecting your mind works the same way. Each small decision adds up. Cooking without aluminum foil may seem minor, but over months and years it supports a stronger, healthier future. Doctors have observed that seniors who take proactive steps toward brain health, avoiding risks, staying mentally active, eating wisely, are often able to maintain sharper thinking, longer independence, and a richer quality of life well into their later years. That is the true power of small changes. They create ripples that grow bigger than you can see right now. You deserve to keep every precious memory. You deserve clear conversations, joyful moments, and the ability to share your stories for years to come. And protecting your brain from hidden dangers is a gift you give not just to yourself, but to everyone who loves you. Today, you have the choice. Choose the cooking habits that care for your mind. Choose to replace aluminum foil. Choose to protect the beautiful life you have built. One meal, one moment, one safer step at a time. Old or rusty cast iron skillets may seem harmless at first glance, but for seniors, they can quietly pose a serious threat. Studies show that while well-maintained cast iron cookware can offer some health benefits by naturally releasing small amounts of iron into food, the story changes completely when the skillet becomes old, damaged, or rusty. Experts explain that rust can contaminate food with unsafe levels of iron, and worse, create tiny pockets where dangerous bacteria can grow, unseen by the naked eye. Doctors have observed that as we age, the body's immune defenses naturally weaken. Even small exposures to harmful bacteria that a younger person might fight off easily can lead to serious infections in seniors. Researchers warn that ingesting bacteria from a rusty skillet could trigger food poisoning, stomach infections, or even more severe illnesses like sepsis if not caught early. What makes this even more dangerous is that symptoms like nausea, fatigue, or stomach upset can often be mistaken for just getting older, delaying proper treatment. Studies show that excess iron is another hidden danger. Normally, iron is a vital mineral that supports healthy blood and energy levels. But experts caution that when seniors absorb too much iron, especially from a damaged skillet, it can build up in the body. Over time, this iron overload, called hemochromatosis, can stress the heart, liver, and pancreas. Doctors explain that even mild iron overload can worsen existing conditions like arthritis, diabetes, or heart disease, making everyday life more difficult and risky. Even if a rusty pan looks mostly clean after a quick rinse, it can still have deep-seated damage. Experts explain that the surface of a rusty skillet often becomes pitted and uneven, allowing bacteria to hide in crevices that simple washing cannot reach. Invisible to the eye, these bacteria can survive the high heat of cooking, especially in foods that are gently sautéed rather than fully boiled or roasted. This means the food cooked in such pans can become contaminated without any strange smell, taste, or visible warning. Doctors have observed tragic cases where seniors fell ill after simply preparing a routine meal in a pan they trusted for years. The danger isn't just theoretical, it's real, and it hides in plain sight on the stovetop. Experts urge that once a skillet becomes visibly rusty, deeply scratched, or flaky, it should not be used for cooking anymore. No matter how sentimental or familiar it feels, the risk to your health is far greater than the value of keeping the old pan. Some seniors wonder if they can simply scrub the rust away and continue using the skillet. Researchers explain that while surface rust can sometimes be removed, deep rust that has compromised the metal structure cannot be safely repaired for cooking. Even after aggressive cleaning, weakened pans are more prone to cracking and shedding microscopic pieces of metal into food. Experts stress that eating food contaminated this way can cause not just digestive problems, but serious long-term inflammation throughout the body. Doctors explain that inflammation is already a quiet enemy of healthy aging, contributing to illnesses like Alzheimer's, heart disease, and cancer. Introducing harmful metals or bacteria through cooking only adds to this silent burden. Protecting yourself starts with awareness. A good skillet should have a smooth, dark, even surface. If you notice orange rust spots, a gritty feel, strange smells, or a powdery residue after cooking, it's a warning sign you cannot afford to ignore. For those who love the feel of cast iron cooking, experts recommend using only skillets that are properly seasoned and maintained. Proper seasoning creates a natural, non-stick coating that protects the pan and prevents rust from forming. Studies show that a well-seasoned cast iron pan not only cooks beautifully, but actually reduces the chance of dangerous iron leaching into food. However, once rust takes hold deep inside the metal, no amount of seasoning can fully reverse the damage. If you discover that your cast iron skillet has become old or rusty, replacing it is the safest choice. Experts emphasize that investing in a new, high-quality pan is not just about cooking. It's about protecting your health, your energy, and your independence. Cooking should be a joyful, nourishing experience, not a hidden danger waiting in your kitchen. At this stage of life, every choice matters more than ever. Your body has carried you through decades of joys, challenges, and milestones. It deserves care, protection, and respect, even in the little things like the pans you cook with. Doctors urge seniors to view their kitchens not just as places of habit, but as spaces of healing and strength. You have the power to make small changes today that add up to a safer, stronger tomorrow. Take a few minutes to check your cookware. Look closely. Trust what you see. If your skillet is rusty, scratched, or flaking, choosing to replace it is choosing life, health, and many more meals shared with those you love. Your future is still rich with possibilities. Guard it with care, starting with something as simple and as important as the pan you hold in your hands.